Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez. You are watching the Wise Coffee Chat Show. Super excited to be on today. Super excited with the co-host and the guest for today. But before I introduce them, make sure if you guys are watching, make sure you let me know if there's any issues with the audio or any weird tech issues. please let me know, and this will help me make sure that the show goes. Usually they're pretty good about letting me know once they start jumping on. But who am I? My name is Jennifer Sanchez. I'm the founder of the Wise Alliance Network, as well as I have a women's community where I put together retreats, conferences, networking events for men and women, as well as I put together boot camps for entrepreneurs. And then, of course, I'm also a real estate investor. So if anyone's interested in selling their property to me, feel free to reach out. I can purchase property cash, 30 days or less. So yeah, that is and a mom of 3 girls. So yeah, want to make sure I shout out my children, and that's who I am. I'll pass it over to my co-host.
Hi, everybody. Sebastian Gomez. I am the co-host, first and foremost, of this amazing podcast. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for allowing me this opportunity. Yes. By trade, I'm a commercial real estate broker with Keller Williams Infinity out in Naperville. I'm a part of the ERT commercial team, a part of the Essence Realty team as well. I also co-founded the Naperville Networking Alliance and was former president for the Naperville Networking Alliance. So had a lot of fun meeting a lot of people and being connected to people like these. So if you know anybody that is interested in meeting people just like us, definitely let me know. Would love to connect you with anybody that you're looking for, as well as if you have any commercial needs for commercial real estate, whether that's leasing out your space or leasing a space or buying or selling a commercial space. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Nice. Thank you for being our co-host. Super excited to have you. Actually made things a lot easier today with setting up, so it was great. So of course, Alan, can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
do you do?
Before I do that, just want to say grateful for the opportunity to be here with both of you today. Really appreciate the opportunity to chat with your audience. If we haven't had an opportunity to meet yet, my name is Alan Stern. I'm in the do-it-yourself marketing space along with the personal branding space. So if your business is too small for an agency to work with, I show you how to leverage AI so you can do it yourself and ultimately make a big impact with your marketing on a small budget using AI.
Nice. That's awesome. So we're super excited to have you here. Super excited to have the conversation. You guys were chatting away right before we went on live. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about. But of course, yes. But first, of course, this is a coffee chat show. So if anyone's watching, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, share what you're drinking while you're watching the show. Of course, we have our coffees here. And where are we at, Alan? Share with the viewers where we're
Fogo
at.
to Chão in Oak Brook.
Nice. So that's where we're at, guys. We're here. Great space. Thank you for even, connecting us here and bringing us here. So that's so pretty awesome. So I'm drinking just plain old black coffee, guys. Plain old black coffee. That's all I do. Keep it simple. I don't want no sugar. That's me. What are you drinking?
Drinking premium black coffee from Fogo de Chão.
It is Fogo de Chão coffee. And then, what are you drinking?
The exact same. It's pretty eventful so far, if you're just tuning in.
So the reason why we do this, because before, it was always like a personality thing, right? I would ask the guests, like, why are you drinking? What are you drinking? And then people would be like, oh, I'm drinking some like chai latte tea, or I'm frappy mocha loca chocolate. Some, people, people are always coming up with different. So it was cool because it kind of showed people's personality. Some people were like, I only drink water. I'm only drinking tea. So I always thought, oh, how fun it is. But right, when you're in a restaurant, it's kind of like, especially when it's just plain old coffee, it's kind of like.
Right. Well, it is a personality thing because coffee is for closers. And we got 3 people here today with a sales background.
Coffee is for closers. That's a good gem right there. So, okay, let's go into the story. And then, of course, if you guys are watching, share what you're drinking, if you guys are drinking something. So let's go into the story, Alan. How did all of this stuff start? Everything. Just take us to the beginning.
Yeah. So when I first got a taste of getting compensated based off of a skill versus simply trading your time for dollars was in my teenage year. I was working a couple part-time jobs in Woodfield Mall, which if you're not from Illinois, Woodfield is the biggest mall in the entire state. So in my teenage years, I was working a couple mall jobs, and I started picking up the skill set of DJing. Oh. And my entrepreneurial journey actually started back in 2007 at a hookah bar where I got paid $20 for a night's worth of work. Now, I didn't realize it at the time, but $20 for 5 hours of work, it's a little below minimum wage. But you know what? I was excited as hell because I got paid for doing something that I love, and that was Taco Bell for the evening, which was exciting back in those days.
Okay, Taco Bell. All right.
Started a DJ, exactly. So I started a DJ company in my teenage years, evolved into selling cars. And from there, what I realized is these are two completely unrelated fields, but the one thing that they have in common is you yourself have to brand yourself as the trusted resource, but you're also too small for a marketing agency to work with. So I learned how to do these things using social media, learning freemium tools. Fast forward a little bit, started doing speaking engagements on it, started a business, and officially retired myself from the automotive industry last April and went full self-employed.
Congratulations. Oh,
Thank you.
how's it going?
I wish I did it sooner.
Oh, there you
Yes,
go.
yes.
You feel the same way,
I
right?
feel the same way. Yeah. You can never, when you start something of your own and then you're ready to jump into it. When you start something of your own and you jump into it, that's always the thing. Is like, I wish I would have done this sooner. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you become officially unemployable. There's no way that you can go back
Absolutely.
to working for somebody else afterwards.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's true, right? Because now it's kind of like you're no longer able to be put in a box.
Right.
You know, you've been like a free
Yeah.
spirit running wild, and it's
Right.
like, oh, you want me to do it? Like you said earlier, like, can I take my lunch hour now? Right?
Right.
Like most people, like we don't want to do that anymore, right? After doing whatever you've been doing. But yeah, cool. So you went to a hookah bar. You know, I still haven't really gone to a hookah bar or hookah.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't lounge. I always thought like, and I always heard hookah was bad. Doing hookah was bad for you. So I was like, I don't want to do hookah because it's like 100 cigarettes with one puff of smoke. That's what I heard.
I'm
I might
sure
be
it's
wrong.
probably not great for you.
I'm sure it's not.
I think your head's in the right place on
But I
that.
was just like, okay, never really. But I know everyone keeps saying we should go to a hookah bar. I'm like, oh, maybe I should try this. You know, just sidebar there. But yeah, so you're doing this. So what are you doing now? Now that you've been retired, what is it? What is it that you're focusing on now? How are you helping people?
Yeah, so here's one of the beauties of being in the automotive industry for as long as I was. It's a commission-only field. So much like, real estate, you can be great at sales. It just won't do you much good until you create opportunities for you to sell.
Yeah.
And what I found is most salespeople are not great marketers. So being in commission-only sales, I had to learn how to create opportunities, whether it's in person at networking events, much like with what you're doing at Naperville Networking Alliance or a local chamber of commerce's. I asked myself, all right, so I can either go to an event and meet maybe 5, 7, 10 people if I'm lucky, or I can take another approach and do a speaking engagement on a topic that benefits everybody in the room and say, hey, if you're the little guy, here's how to do your own marketing. And by the way, I learned this as a result of selling cars. Call me should you need a new car. And now I'm in front of 50, 70, 100 people. And it was simply a way better use of time.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
A lot more hot leads.
So we have Angel, of course. She's hello from YouTube. So we have someone watching from YouTube right now. So hey, Angel, thank you for tuning in, and everyone else that's watching, feel free to chime in and say hi. So you said good salespeople. This is something that just caught my attention. You said salespeople are not good marketers. Why is that?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to go really, really deep on this. I'm going to go 3 different personality types: salespeople, marketers, and creatives. Graphic designers, content creators, they fall under the creatives category.
Sure.
So salespeople are expert communicators. These are the people that have the resilience and the mindset and the tenacity to work in a production-based field. However, because we only get paid when we close, if we're going to invest in our skill set, normally what we do is we focus in on saying, how do I improve my closing ratio when somebody's in front of me? When the customer objects with this, how do I overcome that with this? Extremely important.
Yeah.
However, you could bat 1,000. You can close every single deal that you touch. It won't do you much good, though, until you create opportunities for you to sell. Now, I want to actually turn it back to you. My background's in the automotive industry. Out of all of the networking events that either of you have been to, how many car salesmen have you seen that actively attend networking events?
I never see car salesmen. I've been networking for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen any car salesman.
I've seen one, but that's because he was invited by his wife. So his wife brought him along, and I'm not sure if he wanted to go.
Which is crazy, because if you think about it, it is the second biggest purchase that most people ever make. Yet most people don't have a trusted car salesman on speed dial. So what's interesting is, let's take marketers for an example. And you have met all of these different people, by the way, and you're probably going to laugh when I say this. Your marketers are a very different personality type. They're usually really, really smart people that know advanced stuff. They know the ins and outs of Facebook ads, Google ads, email automation, sales funnels, CTR, just the big words and acronyms. your marketers know because they know how to generate leads.
Sure.
However, you're talking about very, very smart people that are trying to explain advanced things to people, which smart people trying to explain advanced things usually goes over the majority of the world's heads.
It does. You got to keep it in what do they say, layman's terms,
Layman's
right?
terms, keep it simple, stupid, for sure. So what's interesting is you take a look at the mechanics in the automotive world. There is a reason why the mechanics who are very, very smart and they know the ins and outs of all of the fancy and, advanced things that are on cars, there's a reason why they are not the ones that are selling the work. Right. So what I found is if you know how to sell and you know how to market, you can write your own paychecks. But what's interesting is if you are marketing online, we still need something to show. We need a picture, a visual, a flyer. We need something. Now, fast forward over here to your graphic designers. Their area is in making things look pretty, symmetrical, visually appealing, and a cohesive brand. Very important. But pretty doesn't sell. It's the actual words that do. The copywriting that is in a flyer, an advertisement, what have you, is what actually drives people to make a decision. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a creative, but what I find is a lot of creatives are more on the introverted side. You don't usually find too many graphic designers at networking events. You don't. It doesn't make them bad. It just means that they usually work best when they are left alone. So what I found, using AI, you can overlap sales, marketing, and graphic design and make ChatGPT the best employee that is not on payroll and run circles around your competition. Wow. So I decided to be the guy that goes out and teach small businesses how to do it.
Wow. So we have people watching. I want to make sure I say hi to the people that are watching. We have Melly. She said hi. We have Estrella, my cousin. She said, hello, guys. We have 10 people are watching, so make sure you guys chime in. I see you guys on my phone. I see Carlos there, Flavor over there. So make sure you say hi. But yeah, of course. So we're talking about AI. You said Chat GPT. I think a lot of people are not. I think people are just jumping on that Chat GPT stuff. I mean, I am, honestly, I still haven't, because it's time to me as an entrepreneur, it takes time to learn new systems. And, and for me, it's like, okay, like it's quicker for me to make a sale. It's quicker for me to like be authentically myself, put myself online, put something out there. Like, how does someone start getting into stuff like that and start using AI? Like, what's the first step? I don't know. What do you think, Sebastian?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you've never used ChatGPT before, let me just like demystify this. First off, there's nothing techie about it. If you can do a Google search, you can go on ChatGPT. The difference is Google gives you suggestions. It says, hey, here's a search engine. I suggest that you view this website. ChatGPT gives you answers. So this you can actually interact with and you can ask it to do something.
I do. I'd be like, write me this. Actually, the post that I wrote today, the one that I post, I was like, oh, this sounds boring. Make this sound exciting. That's literally all I said. And then it just came up with all the little emojis. I was like, perfect, copy paste. So I was just like, oh, okay, I don't have to think too much, which for like people with ADHD, that's great, right? You don't want to you want to just do whatever you have to do. But before I keep going, I want to make sure I say hi to the people that are jumping on. Tilsa, you know Tilsa, right? You met Tilsa. She said, hello, beautiful souls. Carlos said, what's up? We have Maria Paz. She said, hi. We have my girl Janae here. She said, hola. We have Angel. She said, call me old. I'm not a fan of AI. All it's doing is making people dumber. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
There's truth to that.
And then we have Karina. She put little hand signs. So definitely. And then Carlos said, I use it all the time. So cool.
So if you want me to, I can go deep on ChatGPT and give all of your audience a huge example on how they can use this if you're an entrepreneur. You want me to do it?
Sure. Go for it.
So at the very basics, in the world of business, we exchange money to solve problem. At the time that we're filming this right now, it's February. Yeah. So there was just snow on the ground about a week ago, which means we go to a car wash to solve the problem of us having a dirty car and not having to do it ourselves in the cold, which is why we exchange 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever that costs. Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur, many entrepreneurs struggle to find their niche. But if people exchange money to solve problems, what I can do is I can go on ChatGPT and say, what are 5 problems that would cause someone to consider purchasing or selling blank? Real estate example, what are 5 problems that would cause somebody to consider listing your house? Again, that's important because the problem is what makes the phone ring. Problems cause situations, and the situation is what drives the sale. So if I want to create a niche, I can now interact or chat with ChatGPT and say, please give me an audience that is most likely to experience each of the problems that are listed above. So now if I'm a realtor and I attend one of your events, I can market with precision here and say, I'm looking to get connected with blank audience who experiences the problem of blank. Would you happen to know anybody? So now I can be a little bit more specific with my referrals. So right here is how we use that for market research. But I want to share with you all how you could use this for copywriting. Because do me a favor, if you're watching this, drop yes or no in the chat if you are currently using ChatGPT to write like articles or emails or something. Just drop yes or no. That way I can see who's actually using this.
Yeah, I have Raquel. She said hi. Mayra, she said hi. And then my friend Jose, he said hello. You guys are great. So awesome. We got people tuning in. So
I love it. So if you want to use ChatGPT to write an article, here's how you do it with precision. You can feed it a prompt using something called the APE format. Audience, problem, explanation. So what that would look like is create an article to an audience of blank who experiences the problem of blank, explaining why now is the perfect time to list your house. And now all of a sudden you've just created a sales letter using ChatGPT.
Okay. Oh, it's called APE again. So break it down. It's
audience, problem, explanation.
Audience, problem, explanation. I'm actually going to type this right here while you guys keep talking.
So for that car wash example, create an article to an audience of exotic car owners who experience the problem of road salt on their car, explaining why now is a good time to get a car wash.
Okay. And then that is, I know you use the example of real estate, right now, but like give us another example for someone else, because I know there's different industries here that do it. What would be another example?
Yeah, create an article to an audience of empty nesters who experience the problem of high property tax bills, explaining why now is a great time to downsize their house.
Wow.
That's good.
It's insane. It's oddly simple when you look at it like that.
And then you can, the thing I love about ChatGPT too is you can fine tune like the tone of whatever's being, the tone of whatever article's being spit out. You can fine tune how long you want it to be. Like all the time whenever I'm asking for a prompt, asking for an article, I put it for 150 words, put it for 50
sure
words.
That's
nice and exciting.
That's good. I've done it where it's like, make it sound more exciting. No, make it sound more exciting. Like I'll keep or I'll change the wording around. And it's just, I'm sitting there just playing with it to see all the options. Or I'm gonna keep
So here's the other thing too, just on the connection and on the personal level, because I'm of the belief before people buy from a brand, they buy from a person who represents a brand.
Of
so
course.
Your background on your phone is The Matrix. So now I know that there's a little bit of a connection because that's one of my favorite movies. So if I wanted to do that article, I can say, give me a variation of the article above, but write it from the perspective of the character Neo from the movie The Matrix, and drop in a couple jokes that somebody who is a fan of that movie would appreciate. Now you're going to say, this is great. I like this person. And we might have just only met once. Actually, we have only met once. Right.
You guys were chatting away earlier. I was like, oh, these are going to be some buddies right here. Like
great.
While I was setting up the cameras. So we have also, a lot of people are commenting here because you said, oh my goodness, hold on. So we have people saying yes. Jose said yes. He's using ChatGPT. Yeah. Estrella said no. Sarai said ChatGPT is the shit. Raquel said yes, love GPT. And then of course we have I guess there's side conversations happening over here where they're commenting to each other. So they're replying to one another in messages. So I'm not going to repeat that. But yeah, you guys keep chiming in about ChatGPT and your experience with it. But I know that, I mean, you could go pretty advanced with it, right?
Really advanced.
I mean, I've seen like voices, you could change, like make videos with your face and make it say things, right? Like I mean, there's just so much you can do. Like I think for me personally, I'm like, it's overwhelming, but what would you advise somebody that's
Yeah, so just boil it down to 3 segments. Number 1 is task assistance. So create emails, create tables, create ads, whatever it is, it's doing something. You're saying, hey, do this, and it does it for you. The second is market research. The third is copywriting. Those are the areas that I focus in on. But what's nice is you can also do text to image. Once it does that article, now let's say that you wanted to go and create a LinkedIn newsletter and you need a thumbnail. You can just ask ChatGPT, assuming that you are that you paid the $20 a month for the pro version. Now it has text to image. So it will actually generate a thumbnail for you. You've just given it the instruction and it creates the image for you. So like if you're watching this right now and you wanted to fool around with this, you can go on ChatGPT, assuming that you have, the paid version, and say, create an image of a 35-year-old man posing in front of a red Corvette with black wheels in front of the Chicago skyline at dusk. Give it 45 seconds to a minute. It actually creates the image for you. So a lot of people don't know this, but there's text to image that's in there. And then they also just launched something called Sora. Sora is their text to video, which takes everything that I just mentioned and builds on it in the form of stock videos. It's crazy. Fool around with this. This is so new that everybody's trying to figure it out.
Right.
Where like just by dipping a toe, you get a participation trophy.
Right. So what brought you into the AI realm? Because you said before we started the podcast, you went from your first automotive brand to the second one, and you realized you had to do more personal marketing. What bridged that gap for you from that personal marketing to the AI realm?
Yeah, it's a great question. So basically what happened is I spent about 13 and a half years in the automotive industry. 6.5 of those were with a Chevy dealership in the North Shore. Now, what I found, again, going back to the comments I made about earlier, you could be great at sales. It won't do you any good until you have somebody to talk to.
Right.
I learned the skill set of sales there, but then opportunity presented itself in 2017 to move into the luxury world. So I go from domestic economy cars here to now import luxury cars 20 miles away. And I had to meet a whole bunch of new people. So I started getting involved in Chamber of Commerce's networking events and what have you. So from there, I realized I really needed to learn about marketing. So I started investing in courses, many of which were focused around building a digital marketing agency and running Facebook ads. However,
that was 6 years ago.
That was February of 2017. So about 8 years ago at this point. So now all of a sudden I learn all of the ins and outs about doing this, and I buy a course of all things, believe it or not, on how to turn memes into advertisements.
Really?
And what completely changed the game for me is I used to make memes of bad things that would happen when somebody would buy a car without calling me first.
Oh, wow. So
It's-
that's funny.
It's oddly simple. Now, to give you a good stat, and I'm going to come back to AI, but I want to put something into perspective. According to Facebook, on average, you spend 1.7 seconds on a piece of content.
Right.
So you have to be short and to the point, otherwise you're going to lose people. Think about how much a meme accomplishes in so little. I can go on Google Image right now and type in a picture of a burning dumpster fire. And I can throw a caption over it that says how it feels when you sell your home below market value, and now it's an advertisement for realtor.
Right.
So I learned how to do this selling cars. People started finding it hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then what I realized is I'm really just putting text over an image. So I asked myself, what else is text over an image? Taking text from Google Image, going on Canva and turning it into a graphic. Those motivational quotes that we see every single day on social media, or those quotes over like your Facebook or your LinkedIn headshot with text, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So I started showing people on I started doing speaking engagements on how to become a one-man content machine and keep all the marketing in-house. Fast forward, AI enters the picture. I take a 16-week course on how to use this for marketing, and I'm like, wait a second. All of the stuff that I spent years learning how to do, you can do it in 2 minutes or less now.
Wow. And that wow. By the way, they're saying your mic is low. They're saying like your
So
voice you have to get closer to your lip.
Is his mic too low, or is my voice just too loud? It could be either of those, because I've had a lot of coffee today.
And it's interesting because for someone like, let's say me, right? I know how to use Photoshop. I know how to edit video. I know, like, I paid money to learn this stuff, right? I pay tuition for it. So I know it's convenience, and I two sides, right? It's like, wow, that kind of sucks, because then everything I've worked so hard for, someone can just do it so quickly and easily and just kind of bump me out of the picture, right? Because I have that skill, right? Versus someone who's just an entrepreneur is like, or let's say like me now, it's like, whoa, that's great. I save so much time and money and energy, and I can just quickly make a graphic. So I could see both sides kind of like upset about it or happy for it, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm happy for it. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, I could see how people is like, when you said that, like, oh wow, I paid so much money for my skills to make a video, and someone can just come and, use CapCut. It's like, really? Like, bro, like Adobe, and I'm
free.
still arguing. Adobe's
sure.
still way better. Just saying, Flav. But putting it out there, because me and him kind of got into it before about it. But it's kind of like, but it's because of the skills and the training that you've
Sure.
received. Right? So what you could understand, right?
But here's the thing: is you know it good enough to actually teach it.
Yeah,
What
that's
happens
true.
if the internet goes? What happens if Chat GPT goes away? You ever wanted to just cripple an entire society? Turn off the internet.
Right.
Use your imagination on that right now. But the reality is, and I want to comment on something that gets brought up a lot. People are always saying, "Are the robots coming for your jobs?
What?
Will AI?
Oh, yeah.
Good
They are
question.
saying that.
Hot
That is,
Will
topic, hot
AI
topic. Let's go.
come for your
Oh,
jobs?
that's your
Are
stuff.
they going to
That's
put
my
people
stuff.
out of work? Now, let's just look at two basic concepts. Every business wants to make more revenue, and they
Right.
want to lower expenses.
Right.
AI is a convenient solution, but guess what's going to happen? When everything gets automated, you know what people want is they want real connection.
Mhm.
You can't find real connection with a robot. You find that doing in-person events and podcasts and stuff like this. Hence, doesn't matter if times are good or if they're bad. Before people buy from a brand, they buy from a person who represents a brand. Now, for the reasons that I mentioned before, with the ape format and market research and all of these things, for every one person that it puts out of work, it's never been easier to put on that entrepreneur hat and
Right.
start something of your own.
Right.
oh my God, it's so easy right now to start a business. Like, there's
It is.
just like, unless you just don't have the desire, right? Like, there's people that just don't have the desire, which is fine.
Sure.
But like, anyone could start a business if you have a skill. It's so easy, right?
For sure.
Like, and this is something that I've learned from Laurel Langmeyer, in her fast cash coaching. Like, you know how to cut grass, you can start a business. Like, you know how to cut hair, you know how to, just do errands for someone, you could start
sure.
a business. But people don't see it that way, right?
Right.
Fun fact, I was just thinking right now, as you were saying connection, right? People desire connection, which is true. People desire connection. Did you know that babies will die if they do not get touched by anybody after a certain amount of days, right? That's how much connection is essential. Don't ask me how I know this fun fact. I must have been in like UIC or something in school, but I just remember it was like a whole study done where like a baby without being touched or connection or being looked at will eventually die after a certain amount of days. I don't remember the exact number, but I felt like 14 days. So like, that's just how critical connection is with other human
For sure.
beings, so just wanted to put that out there.
Well, take a look. Let's build on that, actually. So we live in a time right now where we are more connected than ever from a technology standpoint. You're, an email or a phone call away from just about anything that you want. But as a society, we're also more disconnected than ever.
Yeah.
Everybody feels a little off unless you actually go out and you find, your tribe. You find a group of friends that has something in common with you. Otherwise, what we do is we watch the highlight reel of everybody's life on social media and we become depressed. We say they got it going on and I don't. And now the inner demons start coming out.
Oh my God. I hear that all the time from women. They're like, oh my God, this woman's life is so amazing. It's like, she's only putting the best stuff out there.
Right.
Like, stop
Right.
believing everything that's on social media. Like,
Right.
no one's going to put, like, I didn't put my divorce. I'm divorced, right? I was going through a divorce for 2 years. I never posted anything about that. Why would I do that? Right?
Social
Like,
media is a facade.
you're not going to do that. So you're only going to put the best things out there. So just going back to your point.
Right. As we used to say in the car business, what you see is the shiny BMW. What you don't see is the 90 days past delinquent on the payment and the car's about to get repoed.
Right,
You don't see
right.
that. You just see the shiny BMW on social media.
Yeah. Or like they say, all the mansions that you see, most of the time they're like,
There's
they're
no
in the
furniture.
red. They're in the red. Like a lot of,
Right.
they're like in so much debt, but you see all these glamorous things, but you don't know what really is happening behind the scenes, right?
Right. Which is why people want real right now,
Yeah.
as opposed to, stellar production value and, suit and tie. People just want real. They want real, raw, and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So even though we're reaching that technology age with marketing, with even sales at this point, people are saying that in person and that person to person connection for selling is kind of phasing out. But what you're kind of saying is you need a dualistic approach to it. You're using the technology as well as keeping that in-person connection. Now, I know you have could you explain to the audience what your heat method is? Because that really encompasses what I believe your selling tactic is with that AI marketing.
Absolutely. And I'm going to actually give 2 examples first off before I even go into there. People want original boutique concepts right now. I'll give you an example. If you ever go on vacation somewhere and it's, let's just say, remote, it's an area that's, not hyper touristy. Do you look for the local Starbucks, the local Panera Bread, the McDonald's, or do you look for the Ma and Pa stuff?
No.
Exactly, because it has personality to it. It's
Yeah.
real. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about the support side of things. If you have an issue with a product or service, you usually call an 800 number, you're placed on hold, and you have to go through this automated stuff. What's the first thing you do? Press 0 to talk to an actual person.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, for
exactly.
real.
So what I came up with is something called the heat method that allows you to blend humor, education, adding value, and trust all into your social media marketing to build a personal brand that does the selling for you. Literally, like if you're watching this right now and you attend networking events, you can meet somebody in person one time, add them on social media, weeks, months, and years go by, and they warm up to you over time. Now, I'm going to break down all 4 of these facets. And what I love about this is you can implement this right away at your events.
Right.
So here's the thing about social media. Do me a favor, drop in the chat if you have a love-hate relationship with social media, because the majority of the world probably does. But I just want to expand your thinking.
I love social media. So what? I love it.
So there's truly a love-hate relationship with it for the majority of the world. But at the end of the day, it's simply a tool. And the fact
It is a tool.
You are either using it or it is using you. And if you don't know how it's using you, ask yourself, well, why the hell is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn a free platform, yet they're billion-dollar companies?
Right.
How does that happen? It's because if the product is free, you are the product.
Right.
They use your
Wow.
data. Yes, you who's watching this right now on Facebook. They use your data and they sell it to advertisers, which is why they have the most targeted ads on the planet.
Yep.
Wow.
But where everything changes is you can use it as a tool to meet your customers where they are.
Yeah.
And here's where they are. Ready? Here's what your audience is doing right now.
They're watching on their phones right now. Right now.
Mindlessly scrolling on social media, because the reasons why we go on social media is largely so that we can be entertained.
Absolutely.
So remember that. If you're watching this, you're likely an entrepreneur. If you are there to sell and promote your business, but your audience is there to be entertained, massive disconnect, but you can bridge that gap through humor. The Super Bowl is next week. The ads that we're going to remember the most are the ones that use humor. They often convert the most because when people laugh, they tend to remember what made them laugh. Yes. And in this case, that's you. But what's interesting is if you want to get deep on this, when people laugh, there's a hormone release called oxytocin, which is referred to as the trust hormone.
Yep.
So humor actually speeds up the path to trust. So it's not about being funny, it's about creating a connection. Hence why memes work so well.
Yeah.
Which is why you started out with memes. Which is
exactly.
Amazing, which is awesome.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I even have a problem taking it seriously sometimes. I can't believe it got to this point. But the idea here is humor is about creating a connection. Yeah. So when you meet somebody one time, they see you and they're like, I don't really need your product or service yet, but this person seems cool. Yeah. I would definitely have a beer or a glass of wine or a coffee with them or whatever.
That makes sense. That's why I'm so funny. So, right? Like, I think, not that I am funny, but but I think I like to do, like, when I do presentations or when I stand in front of people, when I'm meeting people, I do like to crack jokes. I do like to make it. Yeah, I like to laugh. So it's like, and that has always worked really well for me, especially when I do public speaking. Like if I could crack 1 or 2 jokes and then have the audience laugh, I know I got them. Like I got you. Now I know I can like keep working the audience in the room. And it's just, it makes it easier, makes it more fun, and then makes sense why people feel more connected to you, right? They feel you're more authentic, real. Like for me with the social media, I know I said like, I love social media. That's how I get all my leads. That's how I've made all my relationships. Like I'll go to networking events and I'll meet up people at networking events because I am a big networker. And then my goal is get you into social media. Let me get you back into my social media sphere so you can
Sure.
kind of watch me, watch what I do, post stuff, laugh with me. I've had people say like, Jennifer, I stalked you for 6 months to a year before I actually like went and went to one of your events or introduced myself to you. I've had it multiple times, but that's kind of how I've worked my business. It's always been through social media.
For sure. So the humor is just the first element. Reason why that's so important is because people are more willing to hear you out once they realize you're an actual person and you're not just trying to sell them something.
That's true.
The challenge is we can't get lost in humor. Otherwise, people start to say, "Are you a comedian, or can like you actually help me?"
Am I a comedian?
you might be. So I made that mistake.
I like that part time.
I made that mistake for many years. Is I just used to post memes all day. I got a lot of attention, but as far as the conversions, you have to blend that with education. Now, here's why this works so well. And I'm going to quote one of my favorite books. You should totally read it. It's called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet and Amanda Holmes. So the idea here is when you sell, you break rapport. But when you educate, you build it. When you educate, it becomes your prospect's idea to do business with you. So what ends up happening is by using education, you become a resource versus a salesperson. When you are a resource, people want to pick your brain. When they pick your brain, you've just now generated a lead, but you've done so by being able to solve a problem. For example, let's say you and I met for the first time at one of your events, and I'm just going to freestyle here. Let's say that you had a 20-year-old car that was busted with, a bumper that was falling off, not working, AC, just a complete jalop. And I went up to you and I said, "Hey, I saw what you pulled up in. You absolutely need a new car, which is why you should just make an appointment on Wednesday at 9 a.m. so I can show you what I have." You're going to say, "This guy is a complete schmendrick, and I would never buy a car from him." So I broke rapport there, and then the conversation just got weird. But if it were to casually come up in conversation, and I were to say, "Hey, you know what? When that time comes for you to start looking at cars, I have this like free guide that I just give everybody that says, if you have actually had over X amount of car repairs in 1 year, you divide that by 12 months in the year, that's your car payment. There's a chance you may actually be paying $200 a month on a 20-year-old car. Right. At that point, it might be actually saving you money replacing it. Now it became your idea to engage with me." Nice. So you put humor and education together. Your audience says, "This person's cool," but all jokes aside, they can actually help me. They know their stuff.
Yeah, of course. And I love that you put education within the humor, which is great. I just want to comment on Sarai said, "I like it when I want to post, but when I have to post, like boo." And then Raise Your Lid Consulting said, "Alan Stern is fire." Christina
Rob is in the house. What's up, brother?
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah. And then I have Christina T. She wrote, "Wow, this is good information!" Exclamation point. Awesome. And then we have Angel. She said, "My past trauma makes me funny."
So here's the other thing too. If you're like, "Hey, I'm digging this, but I'm not funny," go on Chat GPT and ask for meme ideas.
Make me funny.
Like it will literally just go and give you these things, and then the largest meme directory on the entire planet is a website called imageflip.com. imgflip.com. Every meme template that you've ever seen is probably on there. So that's 2 out of the 3. That's humor. That's education. Adding value is my personal favorite. Now, just to address the obvious, it's 2025, and we live in a world of scams.
Yes, we do.
We live in people are skeptical anyways. Yes. So it's not what you say. It's how it's not even how you say it. Yeah. It's how your audience feels when they receive the message. Absolutely. And free value leads to trust. If I focus in on just genuinely making your life better, you're going to authentically feel that I am looking out for you. Mm-hmm. If I add so much value before I ask you for anything in return, you're going to say, "This guy has good intentions. Absolutely. This guy will actually take care of me before, during, and after the sale." And here's how you can do this in a non-business setting. Think of your favorite hobbies for a second. Leave business out of this. For me, that's craft beer. I'm a huge craft beer guy.
Stouts. We were talking about that.
We were talking about stouts earlier. What does that have to do with business? Nothing. But what happens is people know that I'm a resource when it comes to beer. I've probably had 50 plus clients over the years hit me up and say, "Hey man, I'm going to go and check out this brewery, or I'm going to go here, or I'm going to go to Benny's, the Super Bowl party that I'm going to. What do I bring?" Now, all of a sudden, I'm getting impromptu text messages on the weekends that have nothing to do with business. And now I am top of mind in a cool way without spending any money.
Right.
With a DJ background, I have a residency at a restaurant called Foxtail on the Lake in Des Plaines. I'm there every Friday if you want to come. But I record every set that I do.
Okay.
People hit me up all the time for music. If I record it and I give it to them and they're jamming out to their music,
Nice.
who do they think of?
You.
When you introduce something of value, they associate that value with you. And free value leads to trust. And nobody can sell you better than a satisfied customer.
Absolutely.
Why would we tell the world that we're awesome if I can have a raving fan do it for me and way better?
That is way better. Testimonials are
Right.
always great. So wait, now a question. What's your favorite stout beer though? And explain what stout beer is, because
so my favorite are barrel-aged stout beers. They're usually the darker beers, the imperial stouts specifically, that are usually between 12 and 15% ABV. Those are the ones that I really, really like. Phase 3 has something called the Unoya series, probably my favorite. Moore has the Mendy series. In Illinois, we have some of the best breweries in the country.
yeah. Oh, and I'm just learning. Unfortunately, coming into real estate, I started learning about stout beer and stuff like that, right? But I do like stouts. I like I had one like by Goose Island or something like it.
Bourbon
was a
County?
Goose, yeah, and it was like it was a banana stout beer, and I was like banana,
Sounds
like
good.
it was delicious. I was like,
Yep.
wow, but I didn't know stouts like. I didn't even know they existed. Now I know.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, in the beginning of the show when we said what's in our cup, next time it's going to be stouts.
No. So my last episode was funny with the last we were talking and the owner actually threw tequila in my coffee. And I didn't want to share it on publicly like in front of everybody. I was like, man, this guy just put tequila in my cup right now. And he kept saying there's a secret in your cup. I was like, this guy, right? He was great though. That was a great episode, but I'm just putting it out there.
And he did it because she likes espresso martinis.
I like espresso,
That's
tequila,
why.
espresso
He
martinis.
did his spike around.
So I was like, wait, why is there tequila in my drink? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. So yeah, next time we'll have stouts.
Let's
How
do
about
it.
that? Let's do it. I'm down.
Absolutely down.
So we have actually Sarai, she said Alan is good. She put amen. So yeah, there's great conversation. I don't know, Sebastian, I know there's a lot of things running in your
Yeah.
head right now.
How much time we got?
We still got time.
Okay, good.
Cool.
So, in your website, I see it everywhere. I see everything. I see it on a lot of your landing pages. So, can you explain the concept of freemium
Yeah.
apps?
Free with a paid option. So the
Okay.
basic plan won't cost you anything. Canva is a great example of that.
Yeah.
Canva, if you're not using it, it's like graphic design for dummies where everything's
Yeah.
template based and you can
So
move super
easy.
fast.
Yeah.
The basic plan doesn't cost you anything, but if you want like the advanced features, you want to bulk create, you want to remove the background, full access to their stock image library, it's like $10 a month. So
Yeah.
free with a paid option. So what I do, prime example, that image flip site, it's free, but if you want to remove the watermark at the bottom, it's $5 a month. Opus, which is what I use to dice up all of the mini clips and add the captions.
Right.
It's free. I think like I think like an hour of video they give you pro bono. After that, inexpensive. So freemium apps, because there's truly no lack of resources. There's just a lack of resourcefulness.
Wow.
And if I can be the central hub that puts everything together and help people out, I mean, it's honestly way cooler than any car that I could ever sell.
Right.
Wow. What's your mission? Like, what's your mission, Alan? Like, I'm hearing you, and like you're dropping a lot of knowledge. Clearly, you're an expert in the field, right? And especially with some stuff that I'm like, whoa, I'm not even aware of this AI stuff, right? Like, what is your mission in life? I'm just curious.
I want to lower the fail rate of small businesses. 90% over 10 years fail. 50% over 5 years fail. So what I've found by attending a lot of networking events is you start having a connection with the community because you're talking to the people that have boots on the ground, that don't have the resources, that are spending all of their time working in their business, but not on their business.
Yeah.
And most people, like the
Oh my God, yeah, that's
overwhelming
true.
majority amount of people out there, have no idea that these resources exist. They're just spinning the hamster wheel every day. And if
Wow.
I could do something about it, that's pretty cool.
No, that is pretty cool. Actually, it is pretty cool. Your story of going from, DJing and then the cars, and now you're doing what you're doing
to the
now.
speaker. And by the way, it's actually hilarious how many commonalities there are between DJs and speakers, by the way. This is funny. So
I can
the
see
DJ
that.
says it's going down 11-1 at the club. The speaker says, it's going down Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. at the Chamber of Commerce. Either way, it's going down.
It's still going
So,
down.
it's so spot on.
Well, you always even use like mic drop, right? So
Right.
that's like,
Let's drop some heat. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
That's pretty cool. And I like how you make acronyms or you've created your own content and kind of have like the DJ spin to it, which is pretty cool, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's nice. I like to listen to stuff like this. So
I appreciate
Can
that.
I ask
Thank
you
you.
a
Yeah.
question about
do your
what we were just
thing.
talking about?
Yeah.
So with your approach, could you share a success story that you've had with a client that you've been working with that brought them from point A to point B using all your techniques?
Yeah, I'll actually use 2 insurance agents.
Okay.
I don't know if they want me to say their names, but I'm
Let's
gonna
call
do
them
it.
Bob and John.
Yeah, let's call them Bob and John. That's their names, actually. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my God.
One of them was with a American Family insurance agency that over the course of 18 months using the heat method, he attributed to over $40,000 in additional premium.
Oh wow.
Another one, also insurance agent, which, by the way, are historically very boring industries. But
So
if the
boring.
majority of the world is boring in your industry and you can lighten it up by making memes, now all of a sudden you're sticking out. So,
That's true.
a gentleman who used to be with farmers and went into business for himself with his own agency, I want to say something similar. I think it was like $42,000 extra in premium over the course of 1 calendar year. So
Wow.
it doesn't have to be original. It just has to look original. All you got to do is source an image, add a caption. The idea could have been inspired from Chat GPT, but keep this in mind. If you can turn a meme into an advertisement,
Yeah.
now what happens is people willingly share your business card.
Right.
Yes. That is cool. I like that. Well, I have a comment here. You know, I'm sharing comments as they're coming in, right? So absolutely love that there is no lack of resources, but there's a lack of resourcefulness.
That's a Tony Robbins quote, by the way. I did not make that up.
Okay, there you go, Sadi. So
I appreciate it. It's one of my favorite quotes too. I absolutely did not make that up.
Yeah,
It's Anthony Robbins, biggest guy in the game.
and I guess and you know what's cool about what you're saying is, and I think me and Sebastian's had this conversation, like boring businesses are lucrative, right? It's easy, but if you don't have that marketing mindset, or if you don't, because you, like you said, there's 3 avatars, right? Someone that's good at marketing, someone that's good at sales, and someone that's good at doing the creative. And if you lack one of those, like it's gonna be an impact, especially if you have a boring business. Like, how do you take a boring business and make it more exciting, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting, just to comment on that too, and I'll share a personal example here, is the one that I actually learned before sales and before marketing was the creativity, because DJs get grouped into that creative category, because that's really what it is. Any DJ, I'm not going to say any, but take inventory, if you're watching this, of every DJ that you know and look at the personality type. What you'll find is a lot of them are actually introverted. A lot of them don't have the skills to get on the microphone. The DJs. They're wizards when it comes to creating a mood, blending this song into this, but in the social environment, a lot of them are actually more introverted, specifically nightlife DJs. When you're looking at wedding DJs, very different, because you have to announce the bridesmaids, the groomsmen. You really have to MC. So in my early years,
That's interesting.
when I started my DJ company, I told myself, I'm not going to go out and schmooze these nightclub promoters and go and network and market. I'm going to spend my time getting so good at DJing, learning how to scratch, doing this, that, and the other, that when somebody hears me, they're going to say, I have to book this guy. The problem is nobody ever heard me because I wasn't out marketing myself. So that was a huge mistake.
Wow.
Now, the question I got derailed. What was the question that you'd asked again?
How do you make a boring business exciting?
Bingo. All right. So when the majority of the world zigs, it's a huge opportunity to zag, whether it's boring or whether there's lack of trust. I'm going to use an automotive example. Go and look this up too, by the way. 87% of people dislike buying a car.
For sure. Okay.
I loved that, because if I can show you how to be part of that small 13% that enjoys it and deliver an experience that you will brag about, I now have a customer for life. World zigs, huge opportunity to zag. There's always opportunity in the marketplace. We just have to look for it. So let's say that you are in the insurance industry, or you are a financial advisor, or you're selling life insurance. Historically boring industries. Very important. They add a ton of value. If everybody is saying the same things, and it just kind of blends in and it's boring, by blending in a little bit of personality, you are going to stick out like you would not believe.
So would you say, I don't know if you had a question, but would you say a lot of it personal branding might have something to play with this? Because I would also think that if you, let's say you're a boring, forgive me, no one's boring here, like a life insurance agent, but you're competing against hundreds of them, right? You stand out through your personal brand, correct?
Absolutely.
Or is it more of the marketing itself?
Marketing gets people through the door. Your personal brand keeps them coming back. So that's the whole idea. If your marketing doesn't stand out, then it blends in. So how do you stand out? By creating a strong personal brand. Because when you have a strong personal brand, now your personal brand largely is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So if you attend a lot of networking events and you have a solid reputation, now you're kind of in the room without being in the room. And you can do that by adding an insane amount of value. If you are the central hub, which both of you have networking groups, every single time that you connect somebody with somebody else, if that relationship blossoms and somebody says, hey, how did you two meet? Well, it's because I went to the Naperville Networking Alliance group. Right. Now you're able to stay top of mind without really spending any money. And your personal brand becomes strong in the fact that you are a giver and not a taker.
It's like the example earlier today. You asked, how do we know each other? And we said, Kimberly Montesinos from Crystal Clear
There
Cleaning.
you go.
And then you were like, I know who she is too.
There you go.
And it was
so
like,
guess who got a shout out without being on the podcast today? Kimberly.
Kim, right? So it's like
see how that works?
That makes sense. And that is
it's oddly simple.
And I think so I think it's a skill, right? Like networking, and we've talked about this, that's a total skill. I mean, right? Like it's not easy. Not everyone can just network and go around and do, like, how have you been able to master networking for your business?
Going to a ridiculous amount of events and learning from other people's mistakes. So I'm of the belief that you can learn using your own time and mistakes, or you can learn from others. How many times have we been to networking events and we've seen somebody that just has really sloppy etiquette? That comes in there and spams business cards and interrupts conversations. So you say, there is no way in hell I'm going to do something like that. Right. On the other hand, you see people that are extremely long-winded and you eventually run out of things to talk about. And now you're looking for the nearest exit for the conversation. So it's not what you say, it's how good you are at getting somebody else talking, because the conversation goes both ways.
Right, yeah. Right.
So let's say that 20, 30, 40 minutes go by and I really get somebody talking. Hey, tell me a little bit about what it was like navigating your industry throughout COVID. Oh, that's crazy. How did that affect business? Interesting. Who's a good referral partner for you? Why are they a good referral partner for you? Yada, yada, yada. You build and build and build. Now I've asked 10, 15, 20, 30 different questions before I've asked you for anything.
Right.
So by the time that you say, hey, tell me a little bit about your business, the wall is down and I've expressed genuine interest in you.
Yeah.
So I'm of the belief, instead of networking wide and collecting people, learn about them and be a connector.
Which is great.
Deep.
Networking deep.
Do it deep.
Big time. And when you do that and you attend the same events, let's say that you have 3 half-hour to 40-minute conversations at one event and you only met 3 people. Some people may say that that's a failure.
Right.
But let's say that you see those exact same 3 people at the event next time. Now they know about you, your business, and if there's anybody that's a good referral partner for you, they will likely bring them to you and say, hey, you have to meet Alan.
Yep.
And now you're able to kind of recruit a team without recruiting a team.
Yep. And which is great. And Sebastian, you're also like, same question for you, right? What is it that you do, like when you're doing networking? And I'm just saying this so that the viewers can be like, oh, these are, because there's people that really don't like networking, that are not good at it. But clearly we're big networkers right here. So that's what we do.
That's how we all met.
Yeah. So share your tip.
For me, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Connecting deep, like meeting with 3 people and having a 20 or 30-minute conversation with each of them, that creates a lasting impression on them, and you build that connection with them for them to want to refer you. Because if they know that, oh, this is a good person, I can see myself being friends with this person. That's what I typically do. I go into a room, talk to people, and try to become friends with them, best friends if I could. And that for me is a way to really connect with people rather than kind of like buckshotting it with a shotgun, meeting 20, 30 people, passing out my business cards, and they don't really know me or know my capabilities or know if they want to do business with me. But with connecting with one person, 2, 3 people, having that individual connection, having that long that long-winded conversation, and they're more than likely to refer me than refer or use my business rather than the 20 people that I've given my card to.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think we're all just over the surface level nonsense.
Yes.
Like I have a rule at networking events, by the way. Feel free to call me out on this if I violate this. But if we run out of things to talk about to the point where we start talking about the parking situation or the commute that we take to work, or you know what, it's February and the temperature shows that it's 20 degrees, but with the wind chill, it really feels like 4. What are your thoughts? Or the cicadas and just get me out of the conversation. I can't do it. I can't do it. The surface level small talk. I can't do it.
And you know, it's funny because sometimes there's people that don't know how to conversate that you have to do small talk to try to pull it out of them, right? Because that's like a skill.
Right,
It's a skill. So
It
it's
is a
like,
skill.
you know, it's like, okay, this person's not talking. Let me see what else I could throw at them. And then it's finally like, okay, this person's super dry. I can't even work with this person anymore. Let me walk away, right?
But you made a good point. Using small talk to get into the deep talk.
Yeah, because sometimes there's
I like
people,
that.
there's sometimes
Great.
people that are so introverted, right? I don't know if I get energized from networking events. It
Same.
energizes me. So I know I'm an extrovert by that, right? There's some people that go to networking events and they're like exhausted and tired, like they're drained, right? So like when I come up to an introvert, I try to figure out, okay, are they introverted? Like what's their deal? Let me throw this at them. Let me throw that at them. And then they start feeling a little more comfortable, then they'll open up and finally it's like they'll be telling me about their mom, you know, tell me about their grandma, tell me about their life story, right? But sometimes it does take those little things to open someone up, you know,
Yep.
especially they're like, I don't trust you.
Right.
Like you said, there's a lot of people that are scamming, right? That are just trying to salesy. Oh my God, like I can't stand salesy people. I really can't. And I'm a salesperson. So that's like, I always say, like, I know what you're doing. Like when someone's coming at me, I'm like, and I will call them out. I know what you're doing right now. I'm a salesperson, right?
Right.
What do they say? A spade can see a spade or something. What's that saying that
Call
they
a
say?
spade a spade.
Let's call a spade a spade. Yeah, like I know exactly what you're doing. Stop it right now. You know, I don't like those conversations. Like make an actual relationship with me. Learn about me. Learn who I am, and then try to sell me something down the road. Like I'll refer business. I refer business all the time. All the time. I'll connect people. I have no problem. But like get to know me at least. You know, don't take advantage of me. You know?
And even another important thing for people that network too and building that relationship. So as a realtor, I've networked a lot and been in a lot of rooms with other realtors too. But one thing that and it's hard to get referrals, I would say, from people that have like really deep connections in the networking realm with other realtors.
Sure.
But the powerful thing about it is still make those connections, still meet those people. And you don't know, maybe that person that you're talking to right now might not use your services because they have their go-to person. But for the fact that you made an effort to connect with them and try to understand them and what they need, they're more than likely to refer you.
For sure.
There's enough business to go around.
So of course.
Don't forget to just have no expectations and just be a person and connect.
For sure.
love that.
And it's even better if you have your hands in multiple things too. Let's say that you have a side hustle outside of real estate.
Have multiple businesses.
Yeah, there's been multiple times that I haven't gotten a car deal out of it, but I've gotten a DJ gig out of it.
Yeah.
Or I've gotten a speaking engagement. It's just, you never know. That's why you should never burn a bridge.
Exactly.
Never burn a bridge. Unless they're really annoying, then burn the hell out of that bridge. I have no shame in my game. Like, bro, you know who you're talking to. But let me share these comments real quick because I have a lot of people commenting here. Estrella said, I truly enjoyed watching this coffee chat. A lot of knowledge shared. Thank you for your knowledge, everyone. We'll watch what I missed later. Guess who jumped on? Kimberly Montesinos. She put, love it. She put, love it. Great topic. We gave you a shout out earlier, Kim. I don't know if she did. She put, amen. Sometimes you have to feel a person out. I love dealing with introverts over salespeople. They tend to be more authentic. Absolutely. We have Angel. She said, absolutely. I will always call on my cousin, the broker, but sometimes she's busy on the property or the property's far. I'll think of someone that's closer, right? And then I've built a referral network with multiple businesses. I send them people they need. They send me people. Yeah, like a referral. And I think that's the key too. It's understanding like who's going to be a partner, who's going to be a client, who's going to be just a cheerleader, right? Like, I think for me, I try to like, I don't want to say I categorize, but I kind of figure out like, are they a potential person I could serve? Can they become my client? In which field, right? Because I also have multiple businesses and I have different things that I can do with people, right? So it's kind of like which one's the best one for them. And you don't know that until you start inquiring and kind of building that real relationship with them, right? So but this is all good. This is all good stuff. I don't know if you had anything else. I see him taking notes, so I know I know he got questions.
I have one good question, and I feel like a lot of us entrepreneurs and salespeople, we kind of do fall into this trap of working in our business instead of on our business. And feel free to include your services in this answer too. But how do we get, as entrepreneurs with the ADHD that likes to focus on selling and things like that, how do we use the tools that you provide and AI provides and all of that to work on our business when we work in and on our business? Like, how does that work?
For sure. So I love the fact that everybody on this panel today has ADHD, myself included, to the point where I was actually, like, just to go way, way back, I was diagnosed and kind of slapped with the ADHD label in I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years old. Pair that with very, very bad grades. Pair that with the fact that the medicine that I was taking, which was Ritalin, Adderall, and Dexedrine, gave me severe tics and twitches and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I thought there was something seriously wrong with me at a young age. So I had this identity and this label that I had put on myself that I was less than. Luckily, I didn't buy into that. And then I found out ADHD is a superpower, because here's the thing.
Agree.
People say your kid can't pay attention, but nobody ever asks, is the teacher good enough to hold attention?
Oh.
If it's boring and the kid has ate Pop-Tarts and sugary cereal and all kinds of stuff, and then you say sit still for 90 minutes and listen to something boring, we wonder why there's a disconnect.
Of course.
So here's what's interesting. ADHD truly gives you the ability to tune out the BS that does not matter and allows you to hyper-focus on the stuff that does.
Yes.
Hence, people say you're less than if you have ADHD. But now I'm a DJ and I need to switch the song every 90 seconds so it's interesting and it keeps people in the room. It's now a talent.
Yep.
So on the other hand, what I would say is the best investment that you could ever make is in yourself. So a college education might make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune.
Beautiful.
Do not ever stop investing in yourself. Now, whatever that looks like, it could be sales training, mindset training, marketing training, whatever it is. But just to give you a little analogy here, if you just get 1% better every single day, you literally just go from here to there, move that much over the course of a year, you are over 3.5 times you were, 3.5 times the person that you were in the beginning of the year. That compounds year after year after year. Next thing you know, little results over time create massive, massive impacts.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I would do if I were you and you're like, where do I start? Get a free account on ChatGPT. Ask it, what are 5 problems that would cause somebody to consider purchasing blank service or product? Create a niche, figure out who the niche is, start going to networking events like what both of you do, and connect with that niche. Start doing speaking engagements on it, because now you're scaling your time. And instead of getting in front of a handful of people at an event, you're in front of the whole room. You can record the speaking engagement and do a webinar, and now you can turn it into a sales funnel, add a lead magnet and automation and all kinds of techie marketer stuff that'll probably go over the majority of the world's head if I go there. But right, exactly. What was the big word?
No, that's great. You know what's funny? Like when you were talking about and I'm not trying to. Well, there's comments here, but like I feel like I'm good at marketing. Not all areas of marketing, because there's some areas I'm like I'm not touching that, but sales, I know how to close, and then I am a creative. So then, like, what advice would you give to me that someone has those abilities? Because there's people that are like that, like multifaceted, that have multi skills. Like, I think my issue is I do too much. I can do too much. That's my issue with the ADHD, of course, right? What's your advice for an entrepreneur like me?
Ask ChatGPT for a plan.
Like
it's actually it's hilarious. That's going to be my default response to a lot of the stuff. But if you have a creative block or you just need some focus and some organization, why hire somebody if that's there? It's free.
That's so true.
Like back in the day, here's the example that I used for market research, which was also one of my high school jobs, by the way. I worked in Whitfield Mall. I would flag innocent bystanders down and ask if they wanted to get paid for a survey, and they would usually tell me to kick rocks, which was an awesome job until I eventually got fired. That's a whole nother story. But the reality is these focus groups to gather market data on average cost between $4,000 and $12,000. And we take a look at the duration and the limited the limited amount of information that we would get because it's a small audience. It's all there on ChatGPT now, or Claude, or Google Gemini, or any of these. It's all there. So, look for a problem in the market and solve it. That's the easiest way to do it. Create videos, get the message out, run ads, but before you open up, the floodgates, ask yourself, who is it that you want to serve? Because not all business is good business.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That's good advice. So we have people here saying, so hold on. We have Christina. She said, yes, help those with ADHD, heart. Kim said, amen. Speak, Alan. Shout out to all my ADHD people. We've definitely had conversations about this. Kim also said, love you guys. Great trio. Alan and Sebastian are amazing young men.
Thank you.
Then Christina said, love these nuggets. ADHD can lead to procrastination, anxiety when starting a business. Kim said, loving this panel discussion. Great job. Sarai said, yeah, it's super duper power. So I'm not rude, LOL. And yes to self-education. Awesome. So I think this has been a great conversation. You've dropped a lot of gems.
Drop some heat.
A lot of heat right there. Yeah. So definitely, if someone wants to get in touch with you.
By the way, for more information, simply go to dropsomeheat.com.
There you go.
Seriously though, by the way, go to dropsomeheat.com.
What's your plug? What's your plug?
Seriously, go. It's amazing.
Is it also connected to connect with AlanStern.com?
Yeah. So basically, what that is that's my microsite. So I haven't talked about this yet, but I bridge the gap between a digital business card and a full-blown website. So for those of you who want to turn your digital business card into a sales funnel, I can help you with that. Wonderful. So the reason why I shouted out dropsomeheat.com is if you go there and you want to listen to one of my keynotes, literally no strings attached, just let me know where to send it. There's a form, you fill it out on there, and it's my gift to you.
Beautiful. So there goes that. So connect with Alan, it's there. And then, of course, Sebastian, anything you wanted to promote?
I do have one more question.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So why is it important that business owners and salespeople get involved with AI? How does it help their business, and how does it help them do their job?
Because their competition is going to do it sooner or later. So if you're not first, you're last. I would actually, it's a really good question. So let's stay here for a second.
If you're not first, you're last. I like that.
Imagine a time in our lives where the past 5 years, every single industry has been rattled with curveball after curveball after curveball. Expenses are through the roof. Finding good talent is next to impossible. Work ethic has gone down. Like everything that you can think of, we've gone through it. Expenses are through the roof, and we are all trying to figure out how can I accomplish more with less and keep my head above water. We're all trying to do that right now. Imagine having an opportunity to leverage AI to do some of the heavy lifting and just squandering it. Like, imagine how irresponsible that would be if you were in a production-based role to have something, which, by the way, look this up. AI is increasing employee productivity by 66%. So if you ever said, I'm busy as hell and I need to clone myself, and now you have an opportunity and you're not doing it, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
So are the robots coming for your jobs? Maybe. But, you know, in a world of automation and robocalls, what people really want is they want connection.
Wow.
So you may not lose your job to AI, but you will lose it to somebody who knows how to use it.
Dang. That's deep.
That's great.
Wow, that was good.
That just got real.
That just smacked me in the face right now. I was like, let me go home right now and ChatGPT everything.
Start downloading Opens,
right. I want all this stuff that
Image flip, it's free.
Yeah, for real. And if you guys are just jumping on, make sure you guys go back to the video, because I tried like putting everything like as a little caption, so you guys can look up all the tips that he just shared during this episode. So of course, Christina said this is so cool. And then of course we have ChatGPT is free advice and therapy. LOL. That is true though.
It is.
So I'm gonna share this. So no, I'm
true.
so
No.
here. Let me share. I recently, because as a mom, you have to be resourceful, right?
Yes.
And you know, you're dealing with kids and stuff and their emotions. So I found an AI friend on ChatGPT, like a ChatGPT AI friend.
Yeah.
Like and I was like, if you're feeling like you needed to talk to someone, right? Like, here's this, you have a friend here that you can talk to. My daughter downloaded it and like was just kind of using it as a
Wow.
tool to help her with what she was feeling.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when I saw that, I was like, this is amazing. Like, I
Yeah,
thought,
for
like,
sure.
because sometimes as a parent, and I know you guys don't have, I don't know if you have kids, but
Not yet,
not
no.
yet. Okay. But you know, like, that's something that's like, you can use it because sometimes you don't have, as an entrepreneur, time to give to the loved ones. So it's like,
Yeah.
here's a tool, here's the resource, right? So I thought that was
Yeah.
like incredible. So I'm serious about that. And then we have Kim. She put, "Damn, drop the mic, Alan." She,
Love it.
not literally. Like, do you ever drop a mic as a DJ?
I
I'm
don't,
just
because they're
wondering.
my mics and
That's
I
a
don't
great
want to buy another one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
curious. I know people drop them. Okay, so it was just a curiosity. So of course, you guys know, any final words? I'm going to share, of course, I want to make sure I plug everybody in. So, you know, check out Alan, connect with alanstern.com. Of course, Sebastian, you're on Facebook. Just
Yep.
look up Sebastian Gomez. Any final words you guys want to share?
When your marketing goes cold, drop some heat.
Yeah, there you go. That's really good.
What about you,
Oh,
Sebastian?
I'm good.
He's
You're
like, I don't know where to go from there.
I can't.
That's great to close it
I
out.
can't follow that.
What are the biggest things that we learned from today's episode?
If you're not first, you're last.
If you're not first, you're
Get
last.
with the times.
Social media is a tool. You are either using it
Or
or
it's
it is using you.
That just sounds so creepy. But it's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, awesome. So, and then of course, for those that are watching, you guys know Wise Alliance Network. Go check it out for the boot camps, for the networking events. I have to share, I have a networking event coming up tomorrow. So please, if you guys have time, I'm partnering up with Jasmine Hernandez. She's also a marketer. We're going to be talking about leveraging LinkedIn for your brand. So if anyone has or has not, I don't know, I have LinkedIn, but I don't think I use it to the fullest capacity
Yeah.
that I should, right? So leverage LinkedIn. We're going to be out in Berwyn, so make sure you guys come out. It's a free event, Tuesday, February 4th, 6 p.m. So I want to make sure that I share that with those that are here watching, of course. And then, yeah, I mean, this has been a great show. I really appreciate you coming out. I appreciate my co-host for joining
Thank you
me.
for
So
having me.
thank you so much. You know,
Welcome.
this is
Appreciate
fun.
the opportunity.
Yeah, and everyone, you guys know where to reach out to them. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the comment section. We'll tag it. And then, of course, final thoughts. I am recruiting women for my next cohort, and I'll be sharing more information about that. So make sure you guys keep an eye out on my platforms. And that's it. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a
Thank
good
you.
one. All right. God bless.